It really did. All right. So we are recording in progress and we have to just act natural, like we were having some real people conversations. And hey, everybody, it's me, Just Jess. This week's episode of It's Not a Phase. This is not a phase. It's not, I swear, man, coming in strong this week.
Get it together, Jess. Get it together.
Somewhere we've got, it's like the Brady Bunch right now because there's 4 panels. So, John is this way. That's DJ Raev of Asylum, Windsor.
I'm right there. Right
Yes,
there.
right there. And I'm going to stare directly at the screen because it doesn't show any direction that I think you could be in. And we've got that goth guy about town that is Mr. Raven Blackfall. I said it right this week. I didn't transform you into anything extra. And he's over this way. Joining us this week for our first time ever, we actually have a guest. We rounded somebody up who is actually willing to go on our humble podcast and be our first guest ever. And that is DJ Belladonna. And she is this way.
There.
I'm around somewhere.
That way. And
Directly
she is
below me.
also of Asylum Windsor. And
amongst
welcome.
Other projects.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to our show for one. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm very excited. I'm very honored to be your guys' first guest. So hopefully
Don't be. We're not that good.
I'm pretty good. I'm decent. I'm cool, hip and relevant. I'm only like 25.
With how many years experience?
Yes, with miles, with extra miles, certified pre-owned. I introduced everybody, I think, at this point. So we're just going to jump right into, like I said, how we're doing this week. I already asked you, Belladonna. DJ Raev, did you have anything interesting happen this week? Nothing? No? Give me that look. You're like, don't call on me.
Interesting to happen, no. But, you know, like, I did send you a song because there's a part of me that's always going to be willing to shamelessly promote that which I love. And after you force-fed me some health last week,
yeah,
I
wasn't going to
mention
the
favor.
I
have to return the favor. You know, the bands that hit us with a copyright strike. Nightclub has never done that to us.
Are you? Did you just share a health track with me?
No, but
okay, because I was gonna say they came out with something last week, so I thought you just did like some Uno reverse shit over there. You're like, I'm gonna get it first.
I'm not that nice.
You know, like I'm like sitting here like, oh, I came in with this new awesome what the fuck?
Ready to go.
This new awesome health song I wanted to share, and he just fucking cut in line. That was not even my share. I was gonna be nice and not do that this week, but just maybe mention it because you know I gotta get that out of the way.
I'm still feeling petty about that.
So you didn't do anything cool, DJ Raev?
No, I did something.
Either.
I did something Saturday, but I wouldn't call it cool. There was the celebration of life that Smalls did for DJ Pleasurekatzen, and of course Marcy and I went to that, and that was pretty tough. I wouldn't call it cool. It was interesting to see some of the people who showed up for her and showed out, like to see Martin Atkins, who run. I mean, I'm just sitting at a table and Martin goes walking by. I was like, that's Martin from like Public Image Limited and Pigface, and he just goes walking by, and he drove in from Chicago.
You're like, hey, Mr. Atkins, my name is DJ Raev, and I'm also in Pigface. Just saw just to see if he would get it or not. You know, I'm sure it happens all the time.
And because I'm a complete fanboy, of course, I had a sidebar little conversation with him while the inner me was squealing like a schoolgirl.
That's wild. Yeah,
but
it's weird when you meet idols like that because you have to sit there the whole time and remind yourself that they're human people.
Yeah,
because I do the same thing. I'm just like, I'm like the whole time, I'm like shaking. I'm like, just, just like act like a normal human, like they're a normal human, and it never happens that way ever.
It's impossible.
Yeah, but yeah, Martin was cool as fuck. He was very gracious, friendly, very witty and charming and charismatic at the same time. Like I walked away from the encounter with not a single complaint about meeting one of my musical heroes. So
that's nice.
I just wish it was a better circumstance.
Yes. Right.
But I really thought it spoke a lot to him as the man to just jump in his car on a Saturday and drive from Chicago to go be there as part of that for one of our, one of ours.
I was real sad that I was not able to attend that last weekend. And I was hoping, I thought you did. I didn't want to call you out and be like, so how was that? And then have you be like, I didn't get to make it. I didn't go. But I thought you went. Did you go, Raven?
No, I didn't. I
No.
didn't end up making it out for that night. I was locked into work, being lame. Wah wah.
Old people shit.
But hey, guys got to have money to buy more posters. So, speaking of posters,
Hey, there's a segue.
Oh, I'm a dumb fucking idiot, aren't I?
no, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh, I
But
fucked
I just thought
everything
that was a really good segue though.
It was.
I gotta
It was.
say.
I didn't even have a chance, to be fair. It was like maybe 3 minutes in, and you're like,
No,
got
but
her.
we might as well get the engagement in
That
while
sounds
we're here,
dirty.
right? So I have some extra posters. I have an extra ministry poster and of a Bauhaus poster, not related to any kind of tables or anything that we're
No.
talking about, but I have extra posters. So if anybody wants a poster mailed to them, you can enter by putting some poster related comments and we will do like a random drawing or something.
Yes.
Something
Or
like
we
that.
could actually, you know what? Maybe like the first two poster related posters will be.
I like it. I like it. Poster related
Just
posters.
killing Belladonna with the fucking dad jokes already, and we're only like, yeah, you're like, shit, this is not what I
I'm
wanted
so
to do on a
sorry.
Tuesday.
I'm
It's
so
okay.
sorry.
It'll be
It
quick.
is
It'll be
okay.
painless. You'll
She's
be
gonna
dazed
turn her
after you won't even
computer
know
off
what happened.
momentarily.
Alt
kind of
F4.
Just put up like a cheater type of a thing where it's just an image and we think that your screen's frozen. Like, sorry guys.
I'm so
Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what's
Technical
happening with my
issues.
internet. Yeah.
Man, it's probably I'm in the basement, I don't have the best connection down here.
You like
There
see
you
the
go.
glare on the photo, it's just yeah. Good times. So yes, if you want one of these two posters to be yours, and I don't know, we'll do like a dibs thing, first come first serve. Like, if you like ministry better than Bauhaus and you're first, we'll let you take that one. And if you're not, and you end up with a band you hate, then that's your fault, I guess.
I'm
So,
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
we did
not
what we
sorry.
could do.
No.
Sorry,
No.
not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. No, it's free.
Sorry,
Okay.
no,
Free stuff.
sorry.
Belladonna. I say,
Yes.
on the count of 3, tell me which band you prefer, Ministry versus Bauhaus.
Oh,
1,
wow.
2, 3, go.
Ministry, but specifically their industrial sound. I love me some industrial, you know this.
All right.
Okay. I mean, I put her on the spot, and there we go.
Agree.
Not a
I
bad
provide the best I
take.
can.
He put you right up on stage and you performed well. So speaking of that and bands and stuff, let's just go right into shares then. I'm gonna make sure the stuff I actually had up is still up because, like I said, I did some research here.
They make blue pills for that.
They did. Jesus.
You don't even need a prescription.
Oh, that's awful.
So I'm gonna just go with yours then first. Let's go ahead. What did
There's
you
3
type
of us
in
sitting here, and
this?
she just says yours.
I know
Well,
it's not
think-
mine.
Yeah.
Fair.
I think we all know because I didn't send her anything, so it has to be yours.
All right, you sent me some nightclub, didn't you?
Of course I did.
It's nightclub.
Can you guys hear this?
Exactly.
Who else would send nightclub? Like
I love nightclub.
I love nightclub.
I thought he really sent me health for a second. I got excited.
No, I'm
like,
not that nice to
somebody
you.
else sent me help.
Can you guys hear that when I play that?
I don't hear
No.
anything.
You don't hear anything?
Nothing. Nada. Bupkis.
Share
0.
your audio.
Alright, fine. I did share my audio, but I'm gonna share it again. Technical difficulties. 3
Yay.
hours later.
Please stand by. This is riveting.
Yeah, this
It
is some.
is.
This is some.
I did
Did
it
you
wrong
figure-
again. I did some boomer shit.
Oh, did you forget to click the box?
No, I clicked the wrong box. You know how I do that.
There.
Can you hear now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So DJ Raev sent me this fat track. That sounded like the most old people old shit ever. It's by Nightclub. It's pretty girls do ugly things, and it is hip cool you guys. All right, I'm gonna play like about 15 seconds of it. All right, that might have been more than 15 seconds, right?
That's
Maybe.
fine.
It kind of reminds me
Worth
of
it.
like the 2000s in a way, like the almost the Dead Sea era of things. Like it's very fat disco beats. It's what I would expect on nightclub, and I don't mean that it's redundant. It's definitely fresh, but I mean I like it. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, fuck that. It's a sweet ass song. If it came out while I was out there dancing, they would need to fix their floor. You would
And the
need to
whole reason
revarnish that
I,
shit after epoxy, whatever you do to fix it. You'd have to fix the floor after. So that's always
The
the
whole
highest
reason I went with
compliment.
that song is for a long time I've been pushing another song of theirs at Asylum, the Die in the Disco. I've been pushing that one hard. But you push a song too hard, people start to burn out on it. So I'm going to put that one away for a little while and swap it. I figured I'm going to swap in another song. And since Pretty Girls Do Ugly Things is off of their latest album, Masochist, it's about 11 months old now. I'm going to start pushing that song pretty hard at Asylum. So I'm just kind of priming the engine to get ready to hear that nightclub.
Revving up those priors. No, sweet track, and thanks for sending it. And now what I have is a really, really old band. Actually, Pink Turns Blue from the 80s.
Ooh.
Now I swear I foreshadowed this already on a different episode that they were planning on coming out with something, but it wasn't really announced. They are coming out with their album at the end of February, February 28th. And they did drop a track called Dancing with Ghosts. And it's pretty cool to hear such an seasoned veteran band have kind of a newer sound. But I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, play maybe 15 seconds of it. All right, I don't want to get in trouble, but that is pure post-punk. Like that is, it sounds like it could have been recorded a while ago, but with a fresh kind of like feel to it.
Mhm.
Like very modern sounding comparatively. And
Modern technology.
Yeah, like clear in a way. You know what I'm saying? Almost like if you were to take an old hit and remaster it, but it doesn't sound even like all the way that they used to write back then. Like their sound is definitely developed in advance. So I can't wait for that entire album to come out. That's February 28th.
Okay.
And then I have it all up on the same screen. Oh, I was surprised you didn't hit us with this, Raev, because Ashcode came out with a single. And I think I saw that they're gearing up for tour. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I completely just fucking made that up to sound cool. Like I know what I'm talking about. But this song is called Living for the Sound. And I got this up on my Spotify. Hopefully it doesn't just do some weird stuff because my Spotify lapsed. It's a long story. Called on broke and I let it just fucking lapse. So maybe hopefully it doesn't just switch to
That's
another
fair.
song. Yeah. Always so smooth. That was a nice one to kind of bring it down to with the last track there. So yeah, they're coming out with, I had the whole thing pulled up. No, they just have the single out. There is a music video for it, but I don't know if they actually announced an album with it. That's what kind of messed me up, is because I figured that there was going to be a tour. But nope, Doesn't say anything about that. Just sweet single. But you know how bands work. When they do stuff like that, they're gearing up.
Yeah,
They're
for
just
sure.
teasing us. They're strip teasing us. They're taking a little bit off and keeping most of it on, and then they're
I
just
like a
gonna be
good
like, "Well,
strip
bam."
tease.
Gotta build
Exactly.
anticipation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what movie did you watch?
Movie review.
Movie review
Yay.
time.
Yeah, movie review with Raven. Hey. All right. So I'm a huge fan of Red Letter Media. I don't know if you guys even know who that is,
No.
but they are some movie enthusiasts. They've made their own movies, but they do a lot of movie reviews, and then they also do series called Best of the Worst or Wheel of the Worst, where they watch horrible movies, painfully bad movies, and
Those are the best.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. And it's the best of the worst. So then they have to pick the best of the worst. But anyway, they also do a lot of movie reviews for like movies that come out like straight to video, well, straight to streaming and that kind of thing. And they did like a best of the year review. And so I kind of watch I've been kind of dabbling in the movies that they suggested. And one of the movies that was at the top of the list was The Substance
Here we go with Demi Moore.
with Demi Moore. Yes, yes, yes. And
Pause
I
real
gotta
quick.
yeah, what?
I
Huh?
want you to note that I have not seen it.
Okay, I will not I will do my best to give no spoilers.
Continue. Thank
Um
you.
so starring Demi Moore, who plays a 50-plus-year-old like aging starlet, and
Wood.
what would oh Wood. I see. Ashton Kutcher over here. Although
Absolutely
this is
correct,
a
though.
lot more age appropriate, I would think. Um, anyway, there's Dennis Quaid is cast in it as this like kind of like sleazy network guy who like he's this like mover and shaker kind of dude, and he plays a perfect like just disgusting human being, and basically
I was about to make a really mean joke, but I don't really know Dennis Quaid on that kind of a level because I was gonna be like, "Oh, he played himself," but it was just really I'm nothing against him. I know nothing about him. It was just the perfect setup for a joke. So I'm sorry. Continue.
So the premise of the substance is that you essentially get to you take the substance and you get the effect is that there is a version of yourself that's just better, like younger, better looking, etc. And so this aging star, Elizabeth Sparkle is her name. Yes, the writer director named her main character Elizabeth Sparkle. I thought it was horrible, but I got over it.
So she's a My
And
Little Pony or Bratz
yes,
doll.
Essentially.
yes, basically, yeah. It's like a 1980s like, but I think that's the whole thing is that she was a star in like the 80s,
In the
90s,
80s.
and so she's still kind of riding on those coattails.
That is
And
true in real life for her as well. So again, she was playing herself.
Again, I
Yes.
say wood.
would
Would.
so so she eventually like gets this suggested to her by a doctor, and well, doesn't really suggest it. She kind of finds a phone number and a thumb drive in her pocket that this doctor slips into her pocket, and she eventually out of desperation, like one night gets drunk and like calls the number and
As one does.
as one
Exactly.
does, and ends up taking the substance, and then insanity happens. But essentially, this other person is I don't really know how to say it without trying to ruin the horror of it all, but is birthed out of them, not physically actually birthed, but like in a way, comes out of them. And so there's this other person, her name is
No, we can't just scoot past that. Are we talking like werewolf transformation, like aliens, chestburster? Are we talking
do you
like
want me to do you want me to explain
reverse
like a
how
sub-
the sauce is made?
like
here.
Is
reverse
someone busted
Vord?
out of the vagina or?
No, no.
Okay, I
Well,
didn't say it like
didn't-
that.
So I
but-
said birth, but I didn't actually mean birth.
Okay.
Imagine if you
He
were
threw her up.
a skinwalker and there was another person
Okay, you could have
inside of
just
you.
said Skinwalker. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so homeboy from Men in Black.
Yeah, kind
But
of like that.
reverse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like Earl or Edgar.
Yes,
from
Edgar.
Men in Black.
Edgar,
Edgar, your
yes.
skin is hanging off your bones.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah, so basically another human being is birthed out of you, but it's like a younger, more attractive. And essentially you two are both living symbiotically separate lives, and one person's like kind of passed out on the floor while the other person is living life. And they're two separate like minds, and they're both surviving like 1 week on, 1 week off. And it's this just crazy story. And there's a lot of body horror, a lot of like just goop and grime and all kind. Oh my God, it's wild. It won Cannes, or it got a lot of
Yes.
accreditation at Cannes. The soundtrack is crazy.
I heard there's a lot of people on it, and I can't remember.
You know, honestly, I can't say that I recognize a lot of the actors or anything like that, because it's not one of those like big Hollywood casts. And I was shocked to learn that it only cost like 20 something million dollars to make, and it looks like a good film. Like it's very well done. Like it's
How movies should
very
be, not
it's
CGI with Michael Bay. Fucking
not a
blowing
lot
shit up
of
with
lot of
computers.
practical effects. Lot of
See,
practical
I love
effects.
I do
Like,
love practical effects.
rubber suits and like all like things really go spiraling at the end.
Rad.
I
Where
feel like there's a place for CGI and practical effects, but it just seemed like when it began to be a thing, it was such a huge novelty. It took everything the fuck
they
over.
did
And
not
now,
do that. They did
yeah.
not do this enough, because it was actually like surprisingly the movie was shot in France, but it looked totally like LA. Like I was convinced it was LA, but it
Mhm.
was
Same thing
not.
they did with The Crow, basically. The old
Yes,
Crow
they
movie.
definitely was not shot in Detroit.
No,
Like
no, it was not.
But like we could tell, but like they did a good job of making it feel like it wasn't actually like I don't know. It was a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, get your opportunity to see The Substance.
On
It
my list.
is a roller coaster. I wouldn't suggest eating a lot though.
So it's basically like Freaky Friday with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because the ooze with Tusk. Do you remember Tusk?
Yes, I
Oh,
did
yes, I
see
remember
Tusk.
that.
Yes, it's a great
Yes.
movie. So if you
Yep.
put all three of those into a
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
and
say
then
add the
Demi Moore
fly
does
in
really
there as
good.
well.
The
A little bit of
okay.
the fly,
Yeah.
no,
Just
but
for like the
not
body horror.
yeah, the
So wait,
body
you
horror,
you
yeah.
have seen this already, Belladonna?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
thank
would
you
say
for
The
being-
Substance is probably my #1 movie of last year. Like I
Thank
adored
you
The
for being
Substance.
quiet and not just ruining the whole thing like some
Did you-
people do.
did I
with
do a good-
movies
did
here?
I-
You did a great job this time.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
As like a spoiler-free like explanation, you did a great job.
That was
Thank you.
very
Thank
poignant,
you.
and I know Demi Moore won, I think, an Oscar for that,
Mhm.
and that was like the first thing she's won,
For
which
sure.
is kind of surprising because, like, I mean, I wasn't joking when I said she's technically playing herself because she's been an actress since the '80s, but they used to consider her more of one of the. I never really thought about it, but she's not been in many like serious roles. I
Mhm.
guess like Ghost would probably be one of her most serious ones.
No, wasn't she in G.I. Jane?
Yeah, okay,
Wasn't
so
that
you're
like a
right.
big-
You're right. She
Yeah?
was in G.I. Jane. That is
Yeah.
correct.
But
But she's
oh.
never won. She's never won one yet.
Wasn't
I-
she in
I-
Striptease?
She was. Yes, we
I
weren't gonna
want
bring
to
that
add
up.
something about the movie that was really important that I forgot that I left out, but it's mostly about like obviously it's a aging star, but one of the important like parts of the or not parts but themes of the movie is just the vanity of Hollywood, and how like here's a woman who's still very attractive, and like you know as Raev had wonderfully said would um you know she's attractive, but like no longer like Hollywood has done away with her because she's hit a certain point. And so the insanity of what people would do just to keep their youth and keep things going, because I'm like I'm not injecting myself with this neon green chemical that I don't know what's gonna happen. You know, like I was,
Ozempic.
yeah, well,
I
no, but this
don't
is
diss
even
anybody that's
shadier.
on it because I mean, if I could, you know,
This
like,
is way shadier. Some
yeah,
dude slips a thing in your pocket that just has a phone number on it, and you go to like a
yeah, no,
shady alley that
the
you have to,
Squid Game pharmacy.
yeah, the
That's how
squid,
you get
Potentially.
abducted.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just wild, and it just goes to show of the desperation and the horrible like environment that the entertainment industry really is and would make people go through just to be able to um be famous and keep your career going.
It almost reminds me of how things got in the 2000s when you had to be the skinniest person. Like beauty standards were so absolutely unattainable in the late
I'm
90s
a
into the early 2000s, and I really thought that was normal. Like this sounds horrible, but like when Britney got made fun of for being on stage and they all said she was like fat and stuff at the time, like I really thought, I'm like, oh, maybe. And now I look at that, I'm like, holy shit, you
the
know. And
heroin
I
chic
still,
thing of the 90s. Like
well, I
I
still see a
loved it
lot
at
of
the
that in
time, and in
Hollywood though.
hindsight, it's like Jesus
It's
Christ, I'm
weird to
gonna
look back and you're like,
retroactively give them all cookies.
in skinny, super thin eyebrows too. Like I remember thinking
Yep.
that when I was like, this is it. And it's interesting how our perceptions change. It's not just with age, but it's really just what's normal in society, which is why that's amazing that we've progressed to the point where it's not just like Gumby and that's the only form that's acceptable, you know.
I do
Um,
like that there's a wider variety of person that's accepted societally these days, that you don't have to be this unhealthy heroin chic individual. They it is a little more acceptable to just be you, and there's someone out there that's going to look at you and be like, would.
yeah. Or you could be a little bit older and still get a start when you used to not be able to do that. Hence, you know, three people that are in their 40s like starting a podcast about goth stuff. And it's doing well. So yes, there's less barriers now, but there are still definitely things like there are still definitely things going on in Hollywood like that. Like we are
Yeah.
over here by Michigan standards, but I have a feeling California standards would bury the
Mhm.
average person. And so that creates a very unhealthy dystopian kind of a sensation constantly. So I want to see it, and I heard I heard it's basically the movie of the year last year.
Mhm.
See,
And
And
now I
it
want to see it.
yeah,
Oh,
you
well, I did a
absolutely
good
should.
job then.
we'll
But
have
it
to
also adds to the discussion of we're expendable to any
yeah.
higher ups out there. They're constantly just jumping at the chance to replace us with someone younger and more attractive. Like
Any
it's
job. Yeah.
yeah.
That bathroom scene, right?
Yep,
Where,
exactly.
where the agent just comes in and he's like, find me someone younger and hotter.
Yep. We are
So,
nothing except expendable.
well, talking about going into the future, because this kind of is a good segue. I sort of maybe that was a little bit of a stretch, but not really. That is kind of what I'd like to go into. We have Belladonna here with us, and I felt like a good topic of
Heard.
discussion would be essentially our scene, like the goth and goth adjacent scene, so including industrial, some light metal, EBM, I guess whatever juggalos are, kind of, we'll let them, you know, sit down at the table too. And kind of talking about I didn't say emo, I wasn't gonna throw a whole lot of nonsense in
No.
there. Um, kind of where we've been, but moreover, this was kind of a complaint from you, Raev, in that we constantly talk about old shit and shit that has happened a long time ago and how
I
things
do
used
complain
to
about that.
be.
Yes.
And before you know it with time, I mean, you're just standing still one day and then time does not. And then you flash forward and then you are 340-something-year-old goths on a podcast that you decided to start out of your home offices, and it's going really
Kitchens.
successfully. Yes, kitchens. But before you know it, everything has changed and it's suddenly different.
Yeah.
And you are a newer DJ. May I ask how long you've been DJing for?
Well, I've been going to asylums for about 2 years now. Um, so probably like I'd say maybe a year, give or
Nice.
take, since John kind of just thrusted me on stage, went, go. So
I gave you a little bit of practice. I
yes,
didn't
yes,
just
you
throw
did.
you
Yes, you
out there and
did.
say, fly, bitch, fly.
No, it was not a baptism by fire. You did a very excellent job at prepping me as to what's to come. But yeah, it's only really been a year since I got behind the deck.
You and Luxie and Struggle Bus. I think I saw come up in my memories that it's been just over a year for the three of you.
Yeah, since Dark Entries. The first night I almost pissed myself so many times. Essentially anytime I had to go behind decks, I'm like checking my phone every like 2 minutes and like, is it time? Is it time? I was freaking out. I still do it.
So, I've been doing this almost 15 years, and so do I. Don't worry about the freaking out. The day you stop freaking out is the day you need to just hand in your headphones and walk away, because you obviously don't give a shit anymore, and so get out of the way for someone who does.
So that was not trying to be part of the call out, but when you said that you've been doing this for almost 15 years, Raev, the reason I noted Belladonna that you are new by default is there's no way physically possible you'd be able to have been doing this for 15 years at this point. Unless you started when I don't know how I'm not going to ask how old you are, but that's why we're kind of just talking a new direction of like where the scene is going as opposed to where it's already been. Now, when we were in our 20s, the club scene was like everything, and I'm talking like rowdy. It was all about like who could be the most gross. Sometimes it was always the most wild stories, and you kind of step
It was
back from it.
debauched.
It was very exhausting though. It sure seemed like it was fun, and maybe it was at some points, but you look back and you're like, why and what for? And one thing that I have noticed about the newer people that are clubbing into the club is it seems like there's more of actually just trying to build a community and have fun.
Absolutely. Especially as like a lot of the people who are getting into clubs now, including myself, we're all of the age of COVID, where some of like the most formative years of our life in high school were completely stripped away from us, where we were stuck just in our houses when that's the point in life when we're supposed to be making all of these connections and getting ready to take a massive step into integrating ourselves into society, and that was taken away from us. So now that everything's starting to open back up and we're really starting to get back out there, especially with social media and how big that's gotten, that's how we spread word about these little things. Like I stumbled on my first asylum completely by accident. I was at a show at Meteor and my friends and I didn't want to go home. And we knew Villains was right around the corner, so we just went there and I was like, "Oh shit. I like this." And I still remember John like spotting me from across the bar looking like I was about to piss myself and essentially just going, "You," and like marching up and introducing himself.
Got a way
But
about him. Yeah.
yeah, not terrifying at all for like a 6 foot something dude to just like march over to this tiny little 5'3" girl like hiding in a corner. But it definitely is a lot more about building community now because we didn't feel like we had that for a very long time.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I could definitely see that, especially with, Gen Z being isolated, people both in high school at the time when it happened, and then also, even once they're young adults that were like, oh yeah, ready to just get out there and then just couldn't. As an older millennial, it was like the 29th gigantic world changing event that's happened since 9/11. But it was a big one. I felt like it was in my top 5 easily. But no, I never really thought about the way that that sort of thing would change the socialization of the scene or the people who are potentially coming into, different clubs and stuff like that. Now I am kind of curious as to like, what were your biggest influences in the beginning? Like things that you saw on YouTube, things that you were looking at on social media, essentially like, how did you kind of come across the idea of like, this is the kind of group and this is the kind of scene that I want to be into?
Well, both of my parents are actually elder goths. My mom like raised me on like the Cure and Bauhaus and things like that. John has met my mother and absolutely
Her
adores
mom is
her.
the shit. I love her mom. I had a great time hanging out with her mom. I wish she'd come to the club again.
There's so much
I'm,
multi-generational shit in our
I
scene. Like
know.
really, there's like families of,
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get my mom to come back out. I'm trying to, she might be coming back out for the 80s flashback night I'm doing very shortly, but that's something I'll get into later. Um, And then once I like started to be able to go onto the internet myself, I would listen to the music my parents raised me on. Like one of my like earliest memories is sitting in my like car seat in the back of my dad's car while he's listening to Rob Zombie. So I would try and like find that
I
stuff.
feel old.
Didn't we have a conversation about dad metal before, you guys?
Whoops.
I can't remember if I
Yes,
brought this up where I had
Jesus.
somebody
we're
talk
like
about
the
they said
evolution of dad metal.
they said Pantera, and I was this was like 2 years ago when I was piercing somebody, and they were like, yeah, dad metal like Pantera, and I was like, you mean granddad metal? And they were like, granddad metal. They were
Granddad.
like,
Yeah.
what's dad metal then? And I was like, corn, bro. I was like, we're 40
Oh,
now.
I saw Korn
So,
last year. They are
that,
John
that
still
means
got it. He's great.
that means that your parents are probably pretty cool. Listened to a
What,
lot of Limp
John?
Bizkit like we did, and maybe some Corn and Deftones, and then yeah, no, that's awesome though that you were essentially born into it in a
Yeah.
way. Nobody's born into it. I mean, hence my
No.
kids like she's like see your black stuff, but then she loves coming to my coming out and seeing Health, and then she loves like 100 Gex, so it's confusing.
Now, can I ask a question?
Yes.
No.
Or I don't want to interrupt. I mean, if you
No,
got
of
more,
course.
please.
Nope.
Now, I haven't had many opportunities, Belladonna, to ask you this kind of question directly, and I will say, like, part of teaching you how to DJ is, from my perspective, is like, okay, she's the youth. I am not the future. She's the future of this kind of scene. Intelligent, charismatic, knows her music, cool. So it's like, I wanted to involve you because that helps move things forward. But what I
Mhm.
don't know, because there is a generational divide, is what is it that us as the event runners and the club runners are not doing good enough? Or what are we not doing well for reaching the generation? What messaging are we getting wrong, and what should we be doing to attract the generation that has been disconnected and has been lost? What are we doing wrong? There's something we are, and we don't know it.
I wouldn't say it's something you're doing wrong. It's just not something you're doing a lot of, and that is social media presence. Like, yes, we post like the pictures and the shameless selfies and things like that, but we'll
And
post
our
like
Instagram's pretty active.
yeah, but we'll post one flyer as a reminder and then drown it in pictures of everyone together. I'd say maybe try and push a bit more on marketing, especially on Instagram. Use the TikTok a lot more. TikTok
The
is so much
TikTok,
well
yes.
than people think it is, because of course everyone thinks TikTok, ew, annoying short clips. I
I'm an
did a
adult. I
little
don't have TikTok.
I'm not. I
no,
play Minecraft and Fortnite, and I fucking smoke weed in my jammies, and then I go on my TikTok and stuff.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
incredible. But I a few months ago put a like edit on TikTok of like a bunch of people at the Goth Nights, and that got huge engagement. And I remember we hit capacity that upcoming asylum, like we had a bunch of people outside, but of course it was also during summer, so that is also just how it goes usually. But I felt like I noticed a difference, but I would say a lot more social media presence and maybe more themed nights. We've only done the two, I think two. I know I was away for one, but if we could try to like appeal to my generation of like early 2000 new metal genuinely is so popular right now. New metal, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot, things like that are super super popular right now. If we could try to draw more people in with that, and you're giving me a
Shut it, Jess.
I'm the director of new metal here, so you have come to the right guy. I never
but
thought I'd be cool, but I saved all those fucking trip pants for a reason.
yes, if you
Yeah.
look at the styles of like goth and alternative fashion that are big right now, it is everything from the 2000s. History is a circle and it's coming back to the early 2000s right now. Trip pants, massive spiked platforms, new rocks, like band tees, ripped up fishnets, like it's all coming back to where we are right now.
I think that's why I love Health so much, is because they remind me of how I used to be in high school. There's something about them. They were described in one interview as jocular, and I was like, bingo. They're like Jackass, but they wear Killstar, and it's fucking
No.
fantastic. So
I will
yeah.
say that we, as a theme night, we put one out there, and it had to have been a good idea because about 2 weeks after I created the event and and got everything put up on social media, about 2 weeks later, I saw another venue do that theme.
Exactly.
As
When they're stealing stuff, it's got to be good.
as for
that-
TikTok, oh, I'm sorry.
That venue on Bagley,
the
about
thing.
2 weeks after us,
Oh,
we put it up there saying, "Hey, we're gonna do a Tim Burton night," and 2 weeks later, they're doing a
I
Tim
saw
Burton
that.
night. I'm like, I was like, "Oh, you motherfuckers! I saw that. I saw that. I'm gonna let it go, but I saw that."
They got it
I
on
s-
lock with their social media skills over there, though. I was gonna start a TikTok for this podcast and just not tell you guys because you guys won't open my TikToks anyway. I send you like
Well,
45
you can't.
TikToks.
We
You
effectively
can.
can.
You can actually.
Wait, can we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
I'm
don't
such
need
a
that.
I'm
They
such
don't-
a
they don't-
boomer. I thought
they
I
don't-
needed TikTok to open TikTok.
No, they don't card you anyway and make sure that you're not old, bro.
Yeah, they reverse
I
Uno card
know.
you.
What do you think? I like
Are you-
filter up real hard before I log in? Like, how do you do, fellow Rizzlers? Yeah.
God.
How do you do, fellow? I love it. Yeah,
I live stream on TikTok now. I'm a big boy. I
Oh,
went pro.
no.
I play Donkey Kong
Oh.
Country 2 because the kids love it.
Oh,
And
oh
yeah, I just rip
boy.
through Super Nintendo all
They
day
do.
and people are like, I'm
Retro
like, oh, thank you for
gaming.
the roses. Yeah, it's great. It's a great system.
Retro
I've dreamt
gaming.
of this since I was a child. Living the dream.
Oh my God.
We forgot an important topic of I don't mean to cut into the interview, but
Sure.
concerts.
Ooh.
Oh,
Belladonna, but before we get into concerts, do you want to tell us about a concert that if any that really kind of impacted you maybe in the goth industrial kind of
Ooh.
genre?
Yes.
Awesome.
So one from the past, my first ever concert was Alice Cooper and Iron Maiden at like the
Oh,
only time
that's
they
fucking
did the
legit.
Sarnia
That's
Bay
solid.
Fest. And Alice Cooper was like my favorite musician ever. When I was a kid, I dressed up as him twice for Halloween from the cover of Welcome to My Nightmare and Feed My Frankenstein, and he has like the gloves and everything.
That's legit as fuck.
I've seen him 3 times. I think I've met some of his band members. Like that moment alone has formed my life so much. Like I would still die on a cross for him. Like I would swear by his music any day. And then my parents, like not to be like my parents are legit, but they are. Like they've taken me to go see Black Sabbath when they were still touring with Ozzy, like all of that. I've seen Black Sabbath. I've seen Manson, Rob Zombie, Motionless in White. Like my parents don't let me miss out on concerts that they know I would adore. Like my birthday this year, I'm gonna go see Manson at the Fillmore in Detroit with my mom as my birthday present, and I've
jeez.
probably never been more excited. Like he's in such a comeback right now from everything, but I'm very excited and oh, I don't know. It's just, I love concerts. I love going to shows so much.
Have you figured out how to go see Jenna Torturers at Smalls yet?
No, but I'm working. I
Jeez.
need to go see that so bad, and I
They're
need to
still
know.
doing shit?
Yes, and I need to
Yeah,
know
they're
if
playing,
Eric is
Jenna
still their bass
Torturers.
player.
And then a week later, they're at Dark Force Fest.
Are they still like wildly raunchy on stage?
Yes,
You know what
and
I'm
no.
talking about.
Not
Like they
as
used to do
bad,
some.
They're not like they used to be, but if there are fetish balls that they do, and Jen is involved, is it the ownership of the castle down in Tampa, down in Ybor City?
Oh,
So that goth industrial club, like
yes, that
Jen,
place is
that's
legendary.
Jen's club.
That
That's
place is
dedication.
legendary. Yeah.
That is dedication.
So I've heard some stories about things they do down there and
Down there.
in their balls and special events. They can still get raunchy, but Jen's not exactly 22 anymore either. I mean, she's
She's in the mature section on Pornhub now, is what you're telling me.
yeah, she's slowed down a little bit. She's not as wild and adventurous, but she's still raunchy and fun as hell.
Aren't we all? Sort of.
I try to be raunchy and fun as hell.
Yeah. One or the other, I guess.
But no, that's definitely one I need to get down and go see because Eric Griffin, their bass player, was also the bass player for the original Murder Dolls lineup. Was with Wednesday 13 and Joey Jordison, and that is my all-time favorite band ever. So if there's even a slight chance that I
Heard
could
them
see
at
him
the-
perform, I need to do that so badly.
So speaking of all-time favorite bands ever, because that was another segue you just walked into that you didn't know about. So we did 2 episodes. Well, it was technically a two-parter. It was Nubergoth, and we fought over what the most important band was. Modern band, right? Like bands
The
going into
modern
the
era goth,
future.
yeah.
And we all chose correctly. If you haven't watched that episode, it's Health. If I had to say to you, what are the 5 most important modern bands, like within the past 15 years coming out, that you would just shoot off the top of your head, just 5 where you're like, these are the fucking best? And I think that, I mean, they don't have to be the best for everybody, whatever. That's a big job to determine. You don't speak for everyone.
Okay.
But on your behalf,
Ooh.
what would you say? Top 5? Just, you know,
Well,
No
then,
pressure.
yeah.
my number one
Rapid fire.
would honestly be Murder Dolls, because they're a band I just completely accidentally stumbled upon one day on YouTube. I was just letting it play and I was like, this is really good. And now I have like all different versions of their CDs. I have like Japanese release, American, like European release. I know all of their songs word for word. Like they are the band for me. And I got to meet Wednesday 13 last year, which was honestly like life altering, to actually be able to like stand face to face with someone I idolize and be like, I exist now. That's so cool. I got him to sign a pack of Marlboro Red cigarettes, so I have that sitting up on a shelf. My one after that, ooh,
Hard.
it is really hard because there's like a few new metal bands I want to say, but there's like 15 different new metal bands I want to list. But
And then there's Nightclub.
And then there's Health. Yeah.
there's Nightclub.
You don't
Um,
have to say any of those bands. You got to be true. You got to be true to you.
You've been real quiet down there, Mr. Raven Blackfall.
I know. Hey. Look, I know I have been, but I just wanted to speak. I'm listening.
Thank you.
Active listening.
My next one would probably be Slipknot. Honestly, they, out of like all new metal
That's dad
bands,
metal.
I know.
Well, I don't know if I could call. I could agree. with
Bordering on
Slipknot being
dad,
called
granddad.
Modern though.
No, I get what you mean.
Well, their first album was 1999. Like that's
Yes.
it's modern enough for me. I was born in 2003. I'm doing the best I can right now.
No,
Yeah.
and I get what you mean
My
there too,
back.
because
My back.
they're essentially, I threw my back out last Saturday. It's not even funny. I was 40 and I was doing 20-year-old shit. I was putting this giant box of books in my closet behind me like a fucking idiot, like lifting it up, and I was like, ugh. So if a band is still making music, in my opinion, they're essentially modern. I mean, earlier that track I shared from Pink Turns Blue does not sound anything like their shit in the 80s. It does, because it's got the essence. But I can surmise that Slipknot is not the same band as when I was
No.
14.
And that is a whole thing I could ramble on about for the next
Mhm.
4.5 hours. I have so many thoughts and feelings on modern day Slipknot that will get me on like some sort of watch list for Corey Taylor's safety. But
You're
I have
that fan.
opinions about that man. But my
I
next
think he's
one
older than
say-
I am.
No.
Probably. I don't know. Is
No,
he?
well,
No.
yeah. He would have to be, because I was 14 when they came out in 1999, and they would have been like in their 20s, like early
Yeah.
20s. So yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be probably a little bit older than you, Rafe. Probably like
He's
47.
51.
I was gonna say I
What?
think he's in his 50s.
Dude,
He's
Joan
51.
Yeah.
Jonah Vasquez is like 62
putting
or
something
some,
in
no,
that-
52 or
Jonah
some
Vasquez.
shit like
He's
that.
putting
And
something in the mask.
Ogre's
Probably.
like Ogre's like
Some
60
magical spray.
something. It's happening, you guys.
It's a
Yeah.
de-aging spray.
times
Activated
happening
by all the
at-
sweat.
Yes,
everywhere all at once.
exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
latex and like activated
Yes,
from
it's-
all the mask and
yes.
stuff. That's
for
probably
sure.
why it just keeps the sweat on there. It keeps it all moisturized.
Exactly.
You're onto something.
Gotta have a like
Moisturize
great
me.
moisture baster.
He just coats that in hyaluronic acid and retinol. Just yeah,
Red light therapy.
Mhm.
My next one I would say Motionless in White.
nice. Okay.
That's a good one. I think
They're
they're playing that big tour down in Ohio coming up. That
The
that
May
big,
8th?
that big show.
The one in May.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Oh, you want to go to that one on Thursday? Because I want to go on Thursday specifically. There's a lot of sweet new metal bands that day in Health.
and
Oh, is Health
And
playing
Health.
that day too?
And yeah, I even told people in the Health court, I was like, I'm gonna try to make it, and all 2 other people from the Midwest were like, I'm gonna try to go too, buddy. Yeah. So we should
Was
do
it
a
in
thing.
Cincinnati or something?
No, worse. It's in like Akron or some shit. Yeah, it's by like
Akron.
Columbus. I know. Ooh, I just smelled cows the second I said it. I was like, anyway.
But they definitely have, they're very present in like modern, I'd say, alternative culture of like most common thing people see now is Rhea Ripley's entrance in WWE is Demon of My Dreams by Motionless in White. So anytime people watch her in like Monday Night Raw or anything like that, they're hearing Motionless in White.
Piece of shit.
I fucking love
I
Rhea
get
watched
so
her entrance
Oh
a
mad.
time
my
or two.
God.
I get so mad because like all the things like I would have wanted in high school to happen are happening now. But whatever, you know.
I know.
Yeah.
But and then they've had some songs go viral on TikTok just for the sake of like it has a good rhythm that people enjoy. So they've been blowing up every once in a while and they've definitely been reaching a much wider audience because of that. So I'd say another one would be Motionless in White. Ooh, I have two
Oh.
more spaces. I'm at three. I have two more. Oh
You
God.
didn't expect me to run you through this hard, and I'm sorry.
No.
Your brain's over there just like
She's just as giving it to you raw over here.
Yeah, fuck. Um, if we're considering bands that are still making music as modern, I would I would say Manson. He just had his newest album come out, I think either started this year or end of last year. Um,
I thought he got canceled though.
he did, but then a bunch of other shit happened, so I don't know what's happening anymore. Every charge against him just recently got dropped, so
It happens.
I
I didn't
don't
keep up on
know.
it, so I had no idea
I
what
don't
was
keep
going
up
on.
on it.
It
Well,
just
that-
like will randomly pop up in my newsfeed and be like, "Oh, here's Manson." I'm like, "Okay, cool."
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I legitimately have no idea what the status of any of that is, and I'm
Yeah.
sure someone will tell me, and I'm cool with that. Tell me. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have time to
yeah.
try and keep up, but I really have no damn clue.
I sincerely hope that he didn't, and then I'm glad that if all things were wiped, because Manson was one of those ones where back in the day, if you were goth, you couldn't be like, I like Manson. I know it sounds weird because he was not. You remember? Do I sound crazy, DJ Raev, when I say that? Like that was the one where in the goth scene, the elitists would be like, well, Manson's not really
Oh,
like.
I
You
can
know what I'm
remember when I
talking
was
about?
18 years old going to the clubs for the first time, and I liked Manson back then, and like the elder goths there were still club
Would
going would
shit
refer
on
to us
him.
as like Mansonites. They'd shit on us. They'd
Baby
shit on him.
bats, small
A lot of them
goths.
wouldn't even associate with us, and there was like this
Oh,
weird generational divide. That
interesting.
yeah, like there was a lot of animosity I would receive, and going back into the 90s because I
Mhm.
was really into the industrial and the pig face, the 9 Inch Nails, the Manson, the skinny puppy, and so the goths, the true blue goths, they did not integrate with us.
They'd shit on it.
They shit on us
Interesting.
pretty fucking hard,
There
pretty
were
regularly.
some bands that would get shit on a lot for not belonging. Manson was one of them. Another one was
Yes.
my favorite. Well, I was always called childish for it. And you know what? They're probably right. But Mindless Self-Indulgence was another one where you were like a leper if you listened to them. You were seen as like some dumb little kid, basically. Go back to Hot Topic for Once You Came, you know.
I was slurred at a time or two for being huge into KMFDM.
KMFDM
Because
kind of was like taken half
KMFDM was
seriously.
my favorite band from 1994 up until some shit went down a few years ago when it came out that Sasha referred to Klaus from Leather Strip in a slur. So up until that moment, that was my favorite band for decades, and I can remember like catching shit for that.
I remember catching shit from our school from that because those shirts were banned immediately after Columbine for obvious reasons. But
Yeah, I was
I
already out of
don't
school by the time that
remember
happened.
that.
I do, yeah.
I don't know.
They took it serious as hell. Like we had to
I'm
take our
sure.
trench coats off. I got suspended for a coat like 6 or 7 times until they found out that that's my kink. Like that's exactly what I'm into. I'm like, oh, suspend me, superintendent daddy. Like I want to just sit down in a little fucking room by myself all goddamn day and not have to deal with these fucking cheerleading ass bitches. Please, Rule 34 the fuck out of this. I loved it. By my
damn
senior
you.
year, they gave up on my senior year. They're like, we're not going to be able to just keep suspending her. Her mom's starting to get mad about it. So yeah. No, that was definitely Manson was one of those ones where it's interesting to see so many people into him still now, and he's still coming out with shit. Didn't he just recently come out with
Yep.
something? Yeah, you did mention that, I think, and I just totally blew past it. But I'm hoping, like I said, that everything when it comes to all the allegations are actually
Yeah.
false. I mean, for obvious reasons, but also just because, you know, I don't want to see somebody as big as Manson get taken down, especially now that it's like cool to listen to him and I can just tell my friends. That feels relieving.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have one more band. Was it one or two?
It was one.
One.
One
Come on.
now.
Spit it out. You can do it.
You overestimate the ability of my brain. I don't know if you see what I've been sipping on, but it's a vodka seltzer.
Oh, that should just lube it up and have all the correct answers come out like
I'm
aqua.
trying. I'm trying my absolute best, but shit. I think my brain's tapping out at 4. It's modern. Damn, yeah, you put me on the spot for this one.
Yeah,
fucked
Well,
y'all
if
up.
I was on
we
deck-
usually give some we usually gave ourselves some time to come up with our list. So
No,
we
you're a
cheated.
liar. I threw
Well,
that. No, actually,
well-
no, we did. You're right. For Ubergoth and Ubergoth, we did. But I had
Yeah,
you guys.
we had weeks of prep time on that. But let's
I think it was
reframe the
16
question.
bands.
Let's say, you know, we're at Asylum and I'm on decks. If you were going to come and request a song from me, what would it be?
Is this role playing now? What are we
Ooh.
doing here?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Ooh,
It's DJ roleplay. I
DJ
do have
roleplay.
a role in life.
That's got to be an actual DJ name.
That is 100%.
DJ roleplay has
Yeah.
to be.
That has to be.
I mean,
It's like Rule
ooh.
34.
If I was just going up and asking you to play something, honestly, probably 9 Inch Nails.
Okay.
That's
I
fair.
mean, you can't go wrong. Yeah, I mean, you know, we were just talking about them last week. The you know
And-
the tour announcements and
and
how
Trent Reznor's Golden Toilet.
Yeah.
we
yeah.
always talk about his golden toilet.
When we say he's very up to date and modern, we mean that he has a very nicely renovated bathroom that we've never seen. No, wait, we did see it. That's right. We pulled up MLS pictures because his house was for sale recently. That sounds creepy, Mr. Resner. We did that for research purposes and research purposes only.
Research is important.
But you have a very nice bathroom.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
would
the house
love
that
to
you
know.
just
I
sold.
would love to know your contractor.
Please.
No,
I need
that's a
some
little
work
more
done.
personal. I don't.
I
Yeah.
mean, we saw great work. I just, you know, could use some new plumbing and maybe some new tile work. You know.
Yes, the grouting was impeccable. Anyhow, I guess we'll wrap it up by asking you, Belladonna, going into the future, how does Gen Z plan to save the entire scene from the evils and dangers lurking out there, that which will try to destroy it? There are only wrong answers here.
Honestly, just we need to keep building community and keep it tight knit. We can't, not to be like we have to gatekeep, but there is some level of gatekeeping where we have to make sure we're creating a safe space for everyone where there's not going to be like gross or like weird people in it or people that make other ones uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
I
just banned someone the other day, so
like
Jeez, what?
and that's how it is someone will come up to me at Asylum and be like, hey, someone's here and like they're being really weird or they're making me and my friends really uncomfortable. I go tell Raev or someone who's in charge. They'll go to a higher up if needed, and then it's taken care of. Like we try our best to create as safe of a place as possible, and we really just need to keep doing that if we wanted as like a scene or a genre or whatever we want to call ourselves to survive. We need to have a strong backbone in order to do that.
Well put. And I will also add that some old people need to really just, get over it and get on TikTok. It's the future.
Yeah.
I mean,
guys.
they had to fight
Fuck.
so hard just so that we could get it back,
Yeah.
just so I could sit there and scroll for 3 hours a day instead of actually getting things done. So use it to promote because it's awesome. And you can also use it to send people hilarious cat videos. That's there too. So
A win's
two
a win.
people here should probably maybe get on it. And also, I mean, I've been thinking about doing one specifically for this podcast. I'm not going to put that out there right now, though, because then I would feel like I have to edit some link in there. I don't have it, but that's coming. That's definitely
I
coming.
can say 50% of
idea.
my household is on TikTok.
I had to sit here and do the fucking math. You made me feel like an idiot. Why?
Also, dude, I'm
I'm
doing
like,
great.
Well, that said, thank you for joining us, and I will come over to Asylum Windsor and see both of you at some point. I swear that
Good.
is actually really coming when I fill out the form.
Yeah.
The
And
weather's getting nicer. Come on.
yeah, that would be the perfect time. Would be spring, because then I could have the convertible top down going over the bridge. Nice night.
Come through the tunnel. We're like 2 blocks from the tunnel.
I love
Oh,
the
yeah.
tunnel. When I was a kid, I loved the tunnel. Now I'm like,
Tunnel
I don't know
scares
if I
the
trust
fuck out of
that.
me.
I've been alive too long and I've gone through too many world events to, trust that thing.
You
But
can only die once.
I'd almost rather just swim,
I'd
but I guess
rather
that's
not.
illegal. Yeah. If I
Personally,
could just like St. Clair it right away, I would, but I have a feeling the Coast Guard will catch me. I'm not that quick anymore.
let me
Anyhow.
hit 25 first, and then I'm fine with dying.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, it's not much after that anyway. I am JussJess, and I want to thank DJ Belladonna, who's I'm gonna assume down, but might not be, for joining
there to
us
me.
as our first guest ever on It's Not a Phase. We're gonna film it, or we're gonna release every Thursday from now on instead of Tuesday. So if you did not get that update, we're on Thursdays now. Also joining me are my co-host DJ Raev. For me, he's like this way, no, this way, yes, this way. DJ Raev of Asylum Windsor, and I know it feels like the Brady Bunch at this point. Like everybody's gotta like just look several directions. And we've got Mr. Raven, Blackfall, the man about that goth man about Gothtown. Because it's Detroit. So it's Gothtown. And I guess
now.
Windsor, it spills into Windsor a little bit.
Goth
Yeah.
man about Gothtown.
Goth man about Darksville. But from Shadow Street. We could just do like a whole address of it.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
I like it.
exactly. So join us for our next episode next week, again, Thursdays, and also be the first 2 posters who are posters, and you might win the posters. Yeah, sure.
I like
and
it.
Just drop
Nailed
whichever one
it.
you want, and maybe we'll be nice and actually give you that correct one.
Poster.
Peace.
Thank you.
Bye.